it's no longer news that, well, it was a breaking news a few moments ago, and you perhaps have been hearing it, but let's bring you up to speed and give you some more details of what has happened today. Earlier, we saw the former mayor of Kano, Sanusi Lamido, who was a guest in Rivers State to Governor Timileyin Fubara at a summit there as part of the activities of the 1 year in office of Governor Fubara. And of course, at about that time was when the Kano State House of Assembly was sitting to review and repeal a law which established the creation of additional 4 emirates in Kano, added to the Kano Emirate. But let me allow you to listen to the former emir who spoke earlier today. He spoke about the economy. And of course, you know, he's a former CBN governor. He has an understanding, a deep knowledge of the economy. And is being very vocal about the manner in which the northern Nigeria should be governed. And part of the issue which a lot of people said put him into trouble with former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje. Take a listen to what he said earlier today.
The reform of an economy, whether of a state or of the federation at large, requires difficult decisions. It involves policies that may be painful and unpopular, which don't usually go down well with politicians who need re-election. But that is the only way to guarantee a better future for the same people that might be hard on. And at this point, it's important for us as Nigerians to be realistic. The mismanagement of the last 10 years will not be undone in 6 months or 1 year. And we need to understand that some of the difficult decisions that are taken will take time to work through the economy. It will take a little while for us to see a turnaround, but those decisions are absolutely necessary in order to save the economy.
As that was happening in faraway south state of Rivers, this is what was happening in Kano State. So the lawmakers in the Kano State House of Assembly were deliberating and passed a law which is replaced the Kano State Emirate Council Law of 2019, which dissolved the Emirate, which of course created 4 new Emirates. And they passed a law, a Kano State Emirate Council Repeal Bill 2024 to law. And thereafter, the governor of Kano State, Mr. Abba Yusuf, signed the bill into law. And afterwards, the governor, Abba Yusuf, announced the decision to dissolve the Emirate Council created in 2019 in the state. That law repealed that former law, and now those Emirates were dissolved. And now the governor says that in support and in consultation with the kingmakers in Kano, he has been able to reinstate the Emir Muhammadu Sanusi II, who was deposed as the Emir of Kano, back to the throne. According to the governor, it is with the full support of the kingmakers, and he has approved the reappointment of Malam Sanusi Lamido. The governor said he's at about 5 p.m. earlier today on the Art Chamber of the Kano State Government House. Take a listen to Governor Abba Yusuf.
From the very moment I signed the bill into law, it means that all appointments made in accordance with that 2019 law are voided, and the balkanized Kano Emirate has been restored to its original free 2019 status. The repeal of the 2019 law means that there is no emir in Kano State as at now, except the reinstated emir according to that law, guided by the provisions of the Kano State Chiefs and Emirs Appointment and Deposition Law 1984 and the Kano State Emirate Council Repeal Law 2024, with full support of the kingmakers, I have approved the reappointment of Malam Sanusi Lamido.
All right, that or those are the words and a proclamation from Governor Abba Yusuf after he signed that bill into law, which now dissolved the four Emirates and now reinstated Malam Sanusi Lamido back to the throne after 4 years. So a lot of people will wonder how powerful that throne is. Of course, indeed, it's a powerful throne which serves about 3 or 4 functions as empowered by the traditional institution, religious institution, and the administrative institution in our laws. It serves a religious, as a religious leader. That throne is also serving as a political leader and, of course, a traditional leader and an administrative leader as the leader of the traditional council in Kano State, as one of the most prominent religious leaders in Nigeria. Of course, a lot of these has happened. Let me give you an understanding of how we came to this point. What happened 4 years ago, Sanusi Lamido, a former central bank governor. Yes, of course, you know how vocal that man is. Of course, let me allow you to look at what really happened, the timeline, the journey. From the 8th of June 2014, Malam Sanusi Lamido was selected to succeed Ado Bayero when the late Emir died. And on the 9th of June 2014, Malam Sanusi was crowned the 57th Emir of Kano. On December 2016, Sanusi spoke, of course, as usual, in his character speaking, being vocal about economic situation in the country. He spoke on government misplaced priority, which a lot of people said was the genesis of his problem with the then governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje. Under the May 2017, the Emirate Council came under investigation for financial irregularities. And 2019, December, Governor Ganduje signed into law the creation of 4 new Emirates, the Bichi, Rano, Gaya, and Karaye Emirate. And in the March 2020, the State Assembly launched a new investigation after the first fizzled out against the Emir for violation of traditional practices. That's how they couched it. And in 9th of March 2020, Sanusi was dethroned by the governor, Abdullahi Ganduje government, and exiled to Nasarawa State. That was a major, major decision of the government. On the 23rd of May 2024, the State Assembly sat, reviewed, and repealed the law creating the Emirate under Ganduje. And the same day today, the Malam Sanusi has been reinstated as the Emir of Kano by Governor Abba Yusuf after signing a bill dissolving the Emirate Council created in 2019 in the state into law. That is a summary of the journey and a timeline of where we are 4 years ago and up to now. Let's get a sense of what this means, the implications, and how we got here, the politics of the leadership of the Kano Emirate. I'm being joined by a special advisor to the governor of Kano State, Mr. Mohammed Jamo Yusuf. He joins us from our Kano studio. It's good to see you, Jamo. Thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. And I have here with me in our Abuja studio a former national coordinator of the Kwankwansia movement for youth and students and a political commentator, Mr. Atiku Abubakar. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Let me begin with you, Mr. Muhammad. Give us an understanding. This is a very delicate decision, isn't it? But a lot of people said they've seen this coming, considering the differences between Mr. Kwankwanso and Mr. Ganduje and, of course, Governor Abba Yusuf. Is this more of a political decision or what?
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Sherwin, and good evening to viewers. Well, Like the saying says, this is the day the Lord has made, and we must rejoice. When you look at the happenings in Kano today, I totally disagree if we say we have to look at it as a political move. The reality of the matter is today, in every society, and especially with the happenings in Nigeria, you need to present your first 11. And what does your first 11 means? Let me cite an example, Mr. Sherwin. Today in the media world, if I'm asked to present my first 11, Sherwin and other people, Sherwin, your name is going to be amongst who I'm going to consider amongst my first 11. Sunusi Lamido Sunusi, the Emir of Kano, His Royal Majesty, is somebody that any day, any time, you can define as someone who can fit in your first 11. We're in a society now where we need all the best brains to come on hand and to come on deck so that we can be able to give the dividends of democracy to our people. And we need to take this country forward from where we are today. So you cannot have somebody like His Royal Majesty Sunusi Lamido Sunusi being dethroned and staying out there when equally there are opportunities that you can be able to have him on board. So what I'm to say to you now, it has nothing to do with any difference between either His Excellency, Mr. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, or the former governor of Kano State. It is more about the state presenting one amongst his first 11 so that he can be part of governance, even if it is from the traditional aspect of it.
Well, I mean, there were insinuation and those who believe that the body language and the chemistry we saw when Governor Abba Yusuf got into office and we saw the Emir Ado Bayero meeting with him, there are those who say, look, they saw this coming, that there will be some hostilities against the sitting Emir and, the now dissolved leader of the Kano Emirate, Ado Bayero. Would they be right to say so because of what really happened? And would they also be right, those who have criticized, to say the Kwankwon's leadership, or the former Governor Rabi Kwankwonso and Governor Abba Yusuf disagreed with former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje on his decision to dethrone Emir Kanu Sanusi at the time?
Well, you see, one of the aspects that you can even look at is even the balkanization of the Emirate itself. If we were to look at history, the Emirate of Kano State does not just come to happen like that. In those days, wars were fought, and those were how kingdoms and emirates were being established. So the Kano Emirate, a lot of wars took place more than 1,000 years ago, up to the point where the Kano Emirate was constitutionally and fully established as a traditional institution. And let me give you one very surprise that a lot of people do not know. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf is a direct descendant of the Emir of Kano, the Emir of Kano. Between Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf and the Emir of Kano, Ibrahim Dabo, who is one of the greatest emirs that we have had in Kano. The Emir of Kano, Ibrahim Dabo, is Abba Kabir Yusuf. There is 5 caps between Abba Kabir Yusuf and Ibrahim Dabo. So Abba Kabir Yusuf, His Excellency, the governor of Kano State, is equally a blue blood and part of the royalty of Kano State. So even apart from him, the Kano people and everybody quite disagreed that there is no reason for balkanization of the Kano Emirate. We can't have a revered institution that is being respected all over the country and beyond. And just for some political reasons, you divide it into 5 places and left it what it is. What it remains. So Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, during the campaigns, when he was moving around to ask for votes from Kano people, this is one point that he has been saying. He is going to restore the integrity of all the institutions of Kano State. And to the glory of God, today His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf has fulfilled part of his campaign promise, and he has restored the integrity of the institution of the Emirate of Kano State by merging them into one Emirate that it was and that it used to be.
Before I come to Mr. Atiku Abubakar here in the studio with me, there are those who believe government is a continuum. No matter who sits in power, there must be some kind of respect for the rule of law and perhaps the manner in which governance is being handled, even if it doesn't sit well with you emotionally or politically. But there are those also who will say that whatever is happening to the Kano Emirate is somewhat puncturing the propriety and the veracity and the strength of the Emirate in the heart and in the eyes of so many people who are following or who respect or hold that throne in high esteem, in the manner in which the leaders or the occupiers of the throne are being tossed here and there. Don't you think that this is whittling down the powers of that throne?
Well, exactly. I quite agree with you here, Mr. Shaun. What happened 4 years ago, the dethronement of His Royal Majesty, His Highness, the Emir of Kano, Sunusi Lamido Sunusi, and balkanization of the Kano Emirate was quite demeaning to the institution of the Emirate of Kano State. And of course, what His Excellency Governor Abu Kabir Yusuf did today did nothing but restore the value. And I can tell you in some years to come, His Royal Majesty, the Emir of Kano, Sunusi Lamido Sunusi, will lead towards restoring the lost value and glory of this emirate.
Let me bring in Atiku Abubakar into the conversation. What is your own assessment of today's repeal of that law and the decision to reinstate Sanusi Lamido back to the throne?
Today is a sad day for the people of Kano State. But before I go into that, I want us to look at what Thomas Paine said about monarchy. He said, to the evil of monarchy, we have added that of hereditary succession. And as the first is a degradation and lessening for ourselves, so the second, claimed as a matter of right, is an insult and imposition on posterity. As all men are originally created equal, no one by birth could have a right to set up his own family in perpetual preference to all others forever. And though himself might have some distant degree of honors of his contemporary, but his descendant might be far too unworthy to inherit them. Why I said that today is a sad day for the people of Kano State is because I know the politics that have been playing all along. All the things that have happened all these years, I'm quite aware of them. And it is not new to us, and it is not surprising to us. This is what the special assistant to the governor of Kano State made mention of Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, which is an indictment on Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, because he is the one behind all of these things. First, we need to understand that the creation of the additional emirate by former governor Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje was the best thing that happened to Kano State. Now you talk about the achievements of His Royal Highness Sunusi Lamido Sunusi in a state where you have thousands of students, young ones out of school. What were his contributions? What did he do while he was emir? Is it enough for you to come on air to speak English while your children don't go to school? Is it enough for you to produce the highest number of beggars on the streets? Is it enough for you to see that your children do not have self-worth? It's not enough. It's not by you speaking English and then living a flamboyant life where the children of Kano State do not have decent meals. There are no schools for them to attend. And then you say that you want to restore certain things about tradition. Which tradition are you talking about? What tradition are you talking about? Is it a tradition of continuing? If you are talking about history and you want all of these traditions to be maintained, why is His Royal Highness riding Rolls Royce? Why is he not riding camel and donkey, which was what was used by his forefathers? But why is it that you are bringing changes? The creation of the new emirates afforded the people of Kano State to get a lot of development. If you go to Bichi, The Emir of Bichi, they dethroned or they suspended, they removed Emir of Bichi, did a lot in the Emirate and some others too. So because of this creation, there was a lot of development within Kano State.
Let me ask you quickly. You said that, and you said former Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso can be fingered, or his hands can be found. It can be linked to what happened today. What's your, why would you say that, and what evidence do you have in this linkage that you have created?
With due respect to the governor of Kano State, His Excellency Abba Kabir Yusuf, he is just carrying out instruction of Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean, another reason I'll give to you is this. Even he started by demolishing houses just to get at one person. He destroyed the livelihood of many indigenous of Kano State just because of Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje cannot be poor. He is not affected by the demolition. But because you want to get at him, because all of these things were done during his tenure.
Let me go back to the question.
He did that as governor of Kano State.
The question I asked is, what evidence do you have to link Kwankwaso to this decision?
Very good. Directly, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso did say to us, while I led a group to his residence, while he was telling us that when he handed over to then Governor Umar Abdullahi Ganduje, that he was living in Kano Government House. And after a while, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje started renovating the part which he was living in Kano Government House. And that he didn't allow him the free hand to direct him on how to carry on with governance. And that was the genesis of the crisis, which he vowed that he would get back at Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. He said all of this directly. I'm telling you directly. And if he's not listening to me, some of his aides are listening to me. He said this to us on several occasions. So one might begin to wonder. He has a very big house which, in Abuja here, which is the size of a stadium in Maitama. He has another one in Kano, in Asokoro. After handing over, you did not go to your house, in one of your houses. You remained in Kano Government House to direct a man who has achieved a lot in life, who has taken...
So you think that the bottom line or the underlying issue in all of these change in the leadership of the Kano Emirate is basically a tug of war between Ganduje and Kwankwaso? Is that what you're saying?
It's not a tug of war between Ganduje and Kwankwaso. It's just because Kwankwaso wants to get at Ganduje. That's all. But Ganduje is not interested in all of this fight. He's going on with his activities.
But you have not touched on the veracity of the decision of former Governor Ganduje to dethrone Sanusi Lamido.
I said here just now that was one of the best decisions that Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje took. Because Sanusi Lamido, Sanusi, His Royal Highness, was almost a stumbling block to the development of Kano
And you didn't think that dented the traditional rulership?
No, the progress
the exalted throne of the Kano Emirate?
No, it gave respect to the Emirate by the creation of additional Emirates and then the enthronement of the just removed Emir, Ado Bayero, because they understand the tradition very well. If you notice, the Emir Ado Bayero was not the talking type, was not the one, but he was more of an action person. So that is what the traditional institution, especially the exalted position of Emir in the northern part of Nigeria.
Let's take a breather, everyone. But when we come more on the decision of Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State and the activities of the lawmakers in the Kano State House of Assembly to repeal the law which created 4 additional emirates in Kano. And now those have now been repealed, and Kano will now have 1 emirate, and it will be led by Sanusi Muhammad Lamido Sanusi. We'll be right back, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Muhammad Sanusi II is now being reinstated as the Emir of Kano, and that has been the decision of the governor of Kano State after the law which created 4 new emirates have now been repealed and now signed into law. Muhammad Jamu, the special advisor to Governor Abba Yusuf, has been speaking with us from Kano in our Kano studio. And Atiku Abubakar was a former national coordinator of the Kwankwansia movement on student and youth. Atiku Abubakar has been speaking with us from our Abuja studio here. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for staying with us. Part of, if we may come to you, Mr. Muhammad, part of the decision today by Governor Abba Yusuf is that he's given 48 hours to the emirs to vacate these leaders, to vacate the 5 thrones. What is the implication of that?
Well, if I have to respond to that implication, Mr. Sherwin, I have to remind us back 4 years ago when the government of Abdullahi Umar Ganduje decided to dethrone Emir Sunusi, Lamida Sunusi at that time. Once the law was signed, it was immediately the security agencies were sent to the palace to remove His Royal Majesty out of the palace, and they whisked him away in the middle of the night. They flew him to local, faraway destination in Nasarawa State. So I think what we are seeing here is more of a leniency from the governor, giving them time to be ready so that they cannot be thrown into confusion. I think it's best to be described as being done with human face, much, much more different than decision that was taken 4 years and some months ago against His Royal Majesty, the former Emir, and now the Emir of Kano Sunusi, Lamida Sunusi. So this is just the parable of two same issues that happened that I'm just to leave people with so that they could be the judges of exactly what happened here.
Let me ask you a quick question before I allow you to also, because I'd like you to respond to some of the things said by Mr. Atiku Abubakar here before I get his own response too. Just imagine that another person becomes, in the next 4 years, becomes the governor of Kano State and decides to repeal the law that was signed today and also now reverse the action of Governor Abba Yusuf. Will it then mean that that throne will be experiencing new occupiers every 4 years? Are you afraid of that kind of scenario?
Yeah, the foundation for this to happen was laid by His Excellency, the former governor of Kano State 4 years ago, when in enacting his own laws for the removal of His Majesty the Emir and the balkanization of the Emirate. Part of the laws, it was given power that the governor has power to remove the Emir any given time that he has. So already it is something that has already started. And exactly what happened now, I will just tell you, it is nothing but history repeating itself. In 1983, I remember Governor Abubakar Rimi of blessed memories, then when he was the governor of Kano State, created more emirates. And then when Governor Sabo Bakenzo, His Excellency, late Sabo Bakenzo of blessed memory, came into office, he decided to dethrone the emirates and return Kano to one kingdom that it used to be. So history has just repeated itself. It has happened in 1983, and then it is happening now. And I feel in the next years that will be coming, we will do everything humanly possible to institutionalize some laws and some reforms even within the traditional apparatus itself, so that we can be able to give it some sense of belonging, to create an impression and to draw it more closer to the people, so that in the future, even if any other governor wants to do it, he will have a second thought about it. But already in the law that was amended by His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, it was clearly stated that the governor is the sole proprietor of the power to remove and appoint the emir. So the governors, they have the power, and it is their constitutional
Mr. Jamu,
right.
you're not afraid of what has now become a political utilization of this tool, this traditional tool, for political purposes and the implication on the average person within this emirate?
Well, it is not Kano State. It is not, this is not peculiar to Kano State, Mr. Sheun. When you move across the country in Nigeria, reasons usually come up for the dethronement of emirs. Some are being found wanting for one reason or the other. I do not see it's wrong if at any given time a governor sees the emir wanting in any particular area when it is misconduct or anything that can be defined in that particular perspective. You cannot stop the governor from performing his role of defending the integrity of the state. But what I am telling you now, I'm not afraid because I feel this was done in the best interest of Kano State, and everything will be done humanly possible to restore the lost glory and values of the emirate to the extent that any other governor in the future will have no reason but to befriend the emirate and be very close with the emirate. Just watch and see. It's a matter of time, Mr. Sheun. You will see.
Respond quickly, just about 30 or 40 seconds, to the allegations made by Atiku Abubakar here that this is a witch hunt. This is a political war between these political forces in the state, the former governors.
Well, even if it is a political war between the two former governors of Kano, I think I can say it is healthy, because in politics, to agree and disagree, there is no comes to that. And in politics, such happens, and it is not peculiar to Kano State. It's not even peculiar to Nigeria. Even all across the world, if you see what's happening between Biden and Trump now, it's happening between the former president and the president. You can see the war happening. This is part of the democratic happenings, and it is healthy for agreements and disagreements to happen within the political landscape.
Let me bring in Atiku Abubakar. Allow you to respond to some of the things Mr. Jamu Mohammed has said.
Yes. First of all, I want to say that he has affirmed what I said concerning Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, that it is a selfish and self-fight for himself, for the benefit of himself alone, and not for the benefit of the people of Kano State. It is done for him to continue to dominate the people of Kano State, and that was the same reason why he brought his in-law as governor, that's Abba Kabir Yusuf as governor, his son as commissioner, another of his in-law as a member of House of Reps. All of these things are being done in preparation again to continue the fight so as to come to APC. I am revealing all of these things so that...
You're saying that Kwankwaso is going to the APC?
Is preparing grounds. I'm doing all of these things to come to APC in order to get protection from now till 2026, move back, use regional sentiment, and contest against President Tinubu. All of these are privileged information, which I also want to appeal to Mr. President, that in the interest of this country, the stability of this country, he should ensure that Kwankwaso does not come to APC, because there will be political tension, which will snowball into political crisis, not only in Kano State, but the entire of the country. I have this privileged information because of my very close relationship with him, and I do not think that at this point in time, especially for those of us who are young, who do not have any other place to go to, we need to work very hard to see that there's no political tension in the country. And on this, I want to make a very passionate appeal to Mr. President that Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stood by you when the people were against you in the north. Mr. President, stand with Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. When you look at it, some people make this mistake that, yes, that Kwankwaso is more popular. When you look at the last election, the governorship election, a man that brought up over 900,000 votes on the governorship election, the NNPP had a little above 1 million votes. Why was it even like that? It was because of the way former President Muhammadu Buhari handled the country and some other indices which worked against the APC then, but not because the people of Kano do not love Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje. He's very much on ground. The president needs him very well, especially to consolidate on the gains which have been recorded, so as to be able to have a seemingly scale through during the next
we need
election.
to close now. 10 seconds for your final thought, Mr. Jamu, and I'll allow Atiku Abubakar another 10 seconds. Mr. Jamu, your time starts now. 10 seconds to round up your thought.
Anyway, this gentleman you call Atiku Abubakar is just a bitter person who keeps saying that he has affirmed that I have talked. I have never mentioned even His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso here because he is not the governor of Kano State. So please, if you have your grievances with His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, take it somewhere. You have been on air attacking His Excellency Rabi Musa Kwankwaso left, right, and center. Please, please. Take your war somewhere. His Excellency Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is somebody who has done so much for Kano people, and he is revered and respected here by the Kano people. And come rain, come shine, whenever His Excellency Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso wants to contest or is standing by somebody to contest, the people of Kano State will stand by His Excellency Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso.
Your parting shot, 10 seconds.
Thank you. I do not have anything against Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. I'm only interested in the stability of the country so that we can continue to record successes and live in peace. That is why I am calling on the president to ensure that he doesn't come to APC to destabilize the party, because once the party is destabilized, it will affect economy of the country.
Atiku Abubakar, thank you so much indeed for your time. And Jamu Mohammed, Special Advisor to Governor Abba Yusuf in Kano. Thank you so much indeed, gentlemen, for your thoughts tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.